The concept I'm writing about is theory of mind, which in my words means when a child starts to develop their own way of thinking. They start to think for themselves. They also start to reflect on their own actions. They gain a sense of dependency. They also start to store things in their minds, and like for instance, like beliefs, favorite food, or even some nostalgic smells. They gain habits or start to have manners. Some examples of how this can be seen in a classroom setting would be like when two children are fighting over a toy, and one child starts to reflect on the situation and reflect on what is the right choice in the situation, which the right choice would be, hey, there's another toy I can get instead of just this one toy. And that would make them be able to reflect and think like, hey, there's another toy. This is me, problem solving this situation. Another example would be a teacher, for example, giving a lesson, and one child decides to be not wanting to listen. So the teacher puts them in a timeout place or a little area in the corner of their classroom, mostly. And the child sits there to be able to reflect on what they did was wrong and why what they did was wrong and what they should have done instead. So when the teacher's done explaining the lesson to the other children, they will go up and talk to the child and ask them, like, hey, do you know why what you did was wrong? Help them try to understand why what they did was wrong and what is the better choice in this scenario. Another way that this can be seen is, for example, when doing assignments. Whenever children get handed like math problems or multiple choice answers type of problems, they could reflect back on the lessons that they were learning with their teacher, or what type of examples the teacher was giving to the children so they could answer these questions. So they reflect back so they can answer the right, they can put the right answer for their problems, which would also make them be able to have a sense of dependency, which would mean their own dependency to make the right choice that they believe is the right choice. So the way that theory of mind would help influence my teaching would be children having the ability to be able to store things in their minds and reflect on them later. Another would be when in the middle of teaching, they could ask me questions. They could ask questions about the lessons. They could also, if I'm doing a visual on a board, if they need me to do the visual again, or if they need me to do it in another way, just whatever helps them be able to learn, whatever they need. That would be a way to influence, is by them asking me questions and how I can better help them. So it would be a way of understanding each other, which is another way of interactions. It would help with interactions by being able to understand each other better. Whether it's with me or other children, they would be able to understand each other better. So like for children, two children could be in a group, and they could be stuck on the same question. And they both could reflect on what they have been learning in the classroom and figure out the solution to the problem that they're stuck on. If not, they could just come to a teacher, and the teacher would answer the question the same way to both of them, and they both would take that same response and reflect on it and solve the problem themselves. Problem solving.